Oh, this is a family history by Matthew Boyce. Let me wait until my interviewer comes in here. Just a second. My interviewer is Elise Boyce, and today's date is July 8th, 1998. My first question is the parents section. Tell me about your mother. Tell me about your father.
One at a time.
It's the same question.
No, but to ask me one thing at a time.
Tell me about your mother.
My mother. Really? Well, my mother is your grandma. Why do I have to put that down?
Because I what?
My mother is your grandma, and when she was a very little girl, she had really long braids on each side of her head, and her hair was really dark, like almost black. She looked almost like a little Indian, an Indian girl, an Indian squaw. And she doesn't work anymore. She's retired, and she spends a lot of time taking care of our nanny, who was just pretty sick, and taking care of your cousins, Emily and Andrew, and pretty soon she's going to take care of some other cousins, Keith and Kyle, a little bit, not too much right away. And they live in New Jersey. She lives in New Jersey with Grandpa, and her name is Elaine.
Okay.
Come back and talk into
Thank you. Let me tell you the next question. Tell me about your father.
Well, my father, his name is Philip Michael Sensorio, and he's probably the nicest guy that I know. A really nice person. And he used to work for the telephone company in New York, and he used to scurry up the poles, climb right up the poles, zip, 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 like a monkey all the way up and work on the wires. And he stopped doing that a few years ago, and now he has a job in a bank, and he works a little bit during the week. He likes to putter around the house and make things, do projects, plant things. He has a little garden. He's trying to grow a fig tree, but that hasn't been going too well. And he lives in New Jersey.
Okay. Did either your father or grandfather serve his country in war?
Well, that's an interesting question. My father, your grandpa, was in the Army, briefly, during, I believe, the Korean War. But because Grandpa's, I think his eyesight wasn't any good, you might have to ask him this question. Because his eyesight wasn't terrific, he, I think that was it. I'm not sure. There was a reason why he didn't get sent overseas to active duty to fight. He stayed in this country, and he was on an army base here doing other jobs that needed to be done. Now, my grandpa, your great-grandpa, this is my daddy's father, he fought in World War I in the Italian army for Italy. He had come here to live, and then when World War I started, he went back to Italy and fought for Italy in World War I. My other grandpa, Nanny with the Bagel's husband, his name was Frank Lavopa. I don't believe that he fought in the army. I don't really know the answer to that, so maybe we need to ask Nanny that question when you talk to her. Now, my grandpa's name was Pasquale Sensorio, the one that fought in World War I, and we used to call him Patsy. I'm ready for another question.
Okay. Let's go to the as a girl section.
What about this?
I'm going to leave that out. What do you mean?
Oh.
Oh. Sorry, I didn't see that one in there.
I may not know the answers to them.
How did your parents meet? When, where did they get married?
Okay. My parents grew up in the same neighborhood in the Bronx, which is a borough in New York City. I'm not quite sure exactly when they met. I think they might have known each other for a long time growing up in the same neighborhood. They were married in 1956, February 11th, February 11th, 1956.
Okay, now for the next question, the last one in the parent section. What were their occupations, education, hobbies?
Well, I sort of did that a little bit. Your grandpa, my daddy, he was a telephone worker, and he worked for the telephone company for a long time. He went to college a little bit, but he never completed college, and he really should have because he's pretty smart. But other things happened, and he couldn't finish. He has lots of hobbies. His big hobby is puttering. Puttering means doing little odd job kind of things all around the house. He's an excellent putterer. Right. Now, your grandma, my mom, she went back to college when I was in high school. And she went part-time, and she got her 2-year degree or her associate's degree in accounting. And she spent many years being a bookkeeper, which means somebody that records all the sales and costs for a small business, a business that makes candy or packages candy. Marlowe Candy in Englewood, New Jersey. And she just left that job a few months ago. Now, as far as hobbies go, I'd say Grandma doesn't have a whole lot of hobbies, but she does like to shop, and she does like to get bargains. So probably that's her hobby. She is a real excellent bargain hunter shopper. Okay, what else?